Knowing I wasn't going to sleep any time soon, I selected a book from my shelf, one containing very bracing sermons, and settled down in bed to delve into the moral persuasions of cooler heads than mine. 2 pages later, I tossed the book to the floor, blew out the candle, and returned to the window. It was no use. As long as Timothy was out there, there would be no distraction for me. Despite the chill, I opened the window. If anything did happen, or anyone was found, then maybe, just maybe, I'd hear the commotion. I did hear something after a while, but it was only Lawrence coming back. He had with him a second rider, and I recognized Tori, wondering what could possibly induce either of them to return here when there was nothing to entertain them. I sat down on the casing and wished, not for the first time, that I could go out riding any time I pleased. Something caught my eye, a single silhouette on the ridge of the hill. I sat up and leaned out as far out of my window as I dared. Someone was creeping along the crest against the sky. Who could be out there without a light if not Timothy or Richard? Oh, it could be anyone, but why not one of them? The silhouette abruptly dropped out of sight. I snatched my shawl and ran for the door. Downstairs, the light in my uncle's study was burning and the door was ajar. I crept past the door, glancing quickly to see who was in the room. That's when I paused. My uncle, Lawrence, and Tori were all leaning over the desk, studying something under my uncle's candle. They were so intent that I was instantly suspicious. Lawrence noticed me first. "Look," he said, clearly pleased, "she's awake." I waited for Uncle William to be angry, but he only said, "Lisbette, child, come in here." Tori had his arms folded and was gazing strangely at me. I hesitated. There was something about the 3 of them that made me feel suddenly frightened. "Don't just stand there," Uncle William said. I walked slowly into the room, drawing the shawl tightly about my shoulders and holding it high to my neck. "What are you all doing?" Lawrence snickered, sat down by the fire, and stretched his long legs luxuriously over the footrest. Tori strutted to the window and kept his back to me so that I couldn't see his face. As for Uncle William, he merely adjusted his spectacles and nodded to the chair beside him. "Sit down. You might as well know that Lawrence and I have been putting our heads together this night. Our situation is grave, as you well know, but since you are to blame, it is only fair that you be part of the solution. Do you agree?" "Yes," I said carefully. "We've come up with a plan that will ensure that all of the money is recovered." He pushed the freshly written document on his desk toward me and tapped it. I gazed at the neat writing, still shiny in some places from the wet ink. "What is it?" "A new contract. For a betrothal." I jolted as if I'd been touched by electricity. "What?" "Never fear," Uncle William said calmly. "I will not force you into this. But if you agree to marry Tori, he will pay us the money you lost. All you need to do is sign your name beside his here. Lawrence and I will witness. Now, for the sake of your aunt, your mother, and the rest of the family, I hope you will not take this reprieve lightly." I felt as if someone had kicked me in the stomach. I couldn't seem to draw breath. Tori was still looking at the window, but I could see him smirking smugly into his own reflection. I stood up. "I need to open a window." I ran to the other window, the one farthest on the side of the room, and thrust up the latch and pushed the glass open. The cold air chilled me to the bone. "Close that window," Uncle William ordered. "Are you trying to make us all ill?" Robotically, I did as I was told and slowly turned to face them. "But what about Timothy?" "Don't pretend that you ever seriously considered keeping your father's contract with the Eastons. You've done too good a job letting us all know your regards for Timothy. Besides, that contract has been broken by Timothy himself when he broke the law. Now, you don't have to decide tonight. Go back to bed and think about it. You can give me your answer in the morning." "No," I whispered. Then finding my voice, I said louder, "No. I might as well say it right now. I can't do it. I don't love Tori." My uncle stood up from his chair. "Love? Who said anything about love? This is cold, hard reality. Grow up, girl. There are prices to be paid for mistakes. The bigger the error, the bigger the cost. Will you face your responsibilities and atone for what you've done? Or will you run away and make the rest of us pay for your carelessness?" Tori at last turned around to face me. In the light of the candle, his face was even more horrendous than in daylight. I closed my eyes to block out the sight. "It was an accident, Uncle. A horrible accident. Please don't make me do this." "I can see you are going to disappoint me," he said, turning back to his desk where his hands gripped the wood so hard that even in the dimness I could see his knuckles turning white. 500 years, and then in one fell stroke a foolish girl wipes out her family's honor and home. The Blackwood legacy will die." Then he turned his burning eyes to me. "And you will be the one who killed it." "But I only—" "Don't speak to me. If you have made your decision, then you might as well start packing. I'll take your mother, and perhaps Anne, back to Michaelton with my own family. But you and Jane will have to start looking for work. I suggest you begin making inquiries as soon as tomorrow. It may take time to find suitable employment." "Can't Jane come with you too? She's only 18 and—" "I've said my piece." I found a chair and sat down. He was right. I knew he was right. But I felt as if I was standing at the edge of a precipice and being told to jump. Even though I knew it was the answer, I still couldn't seem to make myself do it. Every instinct screamed against it. Surely if I married Tori, I would be killing myself. Not in the sense that my body would die, but my spirit would die. I knew it would. Then I remembered something Timothy had said to me only this night. Some things are worth dying for. Was it worth dying to save my family from losing our home? I thought of my mother lying asleep upstairs. This had been her home for more than half her life. What would it do to her to leave? Would she even survive the trip to Michaelton? "All right," I heard myself say. "I'll do it." "You'll sign it?" Tori asked eagerly. "Yes."